Okay, now I'm back. Okay, now I'm back again. And of course, we'll say it. So this is what's so funny. Like, so during the height of this D&D OGL SRD nightmare, I was doing these like insane live streams from this studio or like whatever this office, and doing the proper hashtags and whatever, and tweeting out the links, whatever. These exhaustive, ridiculous 2-hour live streams, whatever. During that same time, I also recorded two pithy little clip ones where I actually like made good points, and those ones didn't go out with proper hashtags and they didn't get tweeted out. Though those were the ones that would have actually had the chance of going viral. So this is the time when if I if I'd made those videos and done them properly on Twitter, I would have actually gotten traction and gotten views, or possibly gotten subscribers at this time of the OGL SRD Dungeons and Dragons Nightmare, when everyone in tabletop role playing games is like the one time when people could actually have a hope of actually getting subscribers. So the time when people could actually get a hope of chance of getting subscribers, I'm making videos at that time. The time that I'm making videos at that time that is actually using the proper hashtags, I'm making these bloated out 2-hour videos that could possibly get no traction. And when I'm actually making quick videos, I'm doing them without the hashtags and not tweeting them out. So this is great. And then I make this video. I had to stop the earlier stream because my one of my kids needed me. They needed me. They had a need. It was just simple. It's no big deal. But kids come first. I didn't know how long the need would require, so it just made more sense to just stop the stream rather than just having the possibly what could have been. I did not know if it would have taken 2 minutes or 2 hours. So I stopped the stream. So now we resume, and so now I will have what will be genius. And it will be with no hashtags, no good description, and no title. I don't want you to use that hashtag Mario Heat. I know that's a funny hashtag on that guy, but I just don't. I don't like any rando hashtags, and I don't like any hashtags that are cute with anything obscene. You guys in the live chat, I've been over this with you people. It's text in front of an algorithm. How you guys can't escape the fact that you're under, scrutiny there. You can't use the word taint in the live chat, Mario. Stop it. You know what I mean? Come on. I love you, but just, you know what I mean? I love you. It's because I love you. And Mario, you asked the question. You were like, you commented on one of my videos. You were like, "Oh my God, it's CW Chanter watches King Cobra JFS." I've commented on King Cobra JFS for like the last 3 years, Mario. So it's gonna take me a minute. I thought I was gonna do this thing with like dramatic lighting, like having this kind of like semi-gloss, like kind of like sepia tone thing. I'm sorry, Mario. Let me get my bearings because of. Let me take a minute. And then we lost people, which is a shame. What are you gonna do? Right before I started the stream, though, I thought of a cover story, and it goes to what I was thinking with this new game. You play a game in the new age alien contact, the experimental whistleblower weirdo world. They would always say, when you're over the target is when they get nervous, and when they start, you get the most flack, you get the most heat. And they would say that when they would do things like try to interview some weirdo who would suggest that he was in contact with the reptilian overlords in, Fresno, and, the Google Plus live feed would, flicker out momentarily, and they would suggest that it was evidence of, NSA interference, or, CIA clapback for having the audacity of calling out the Illuminati shills over at, Twitter for putting, such and such over in, Twitter jail again for, calling out Ivanka for, marrying that reptilian, Kushner. You know what I mean? Wink, wink, say no more, say no more, say no more. Those reptilians sure love to lay out in the sun over out in the Mediterranean. But the Dead Sea. I like Trump, but he better watch out. Kanye West has some interesting things to say about the lizard people. Right, those folks. Watch out. I don't want to say too much when I'm because if I say too much when I'm too close over the target. I mean, I got a little excited when Elon looked like it was going to get better, a little bit better, going to get best when Elon got. I don't want to go too far with this joke. Anyway, glitches in the Matrix. So I claim interference with my time ship, my Blueberry Wolf Bridge to the glorious lands. I am CW Time Lord, CW Time Master. I am inviting you to a bold new dimension. I invite you to another dimension. Pay close attention. The 20-year nostalgia loop. I started thinking about it in the year 2000s when I discovered it. Started keeping a notebook of instances, uncanny instances of life today just being a repeat of what was going on 20 years earlier. Started to notice in 2000 that it was just a repeat of the 80s. And I started to think about it more and more and reminding myself, yeah, weren't they always saying that, Neil Young, that guy from the 70s, was the godfather of grunge? And just thinking about how much of the 70s were just the 90s were just the 70s, and the fashion and the look and everything. And then right on into it, the 2000s were just kind of the 80s. And I just kind of followed that trend and just saw things repeating, this kind of 20-year nostalgia loop. Kind of forgot about it for a while. Never really did much with it, though I'd planned for a while writing a book about it. Anyway, did the 2015 started doing the CW Chanter thing, and then around 2018, for whatever reason, I resurrected the 20-year nostalgia loop, phenomenon. Started talking about it with you guys in earnest, and married it to this notion of doing this time jump meditation, this applied time travel technology where a person would weaponize this nostalgia loop and use it, this 20-year nostalgia loop, and use it to travel back in time. If everything was just a repetition of what was going on 20 years before in movies and media and music and art and etc., then one could theoretically go back in time 20 years by just only listening to music, only listening to art, only experiencing movies and media and TV from 20 years ago. If life was just so much like it was from 20 years ago, by increasing the amount of 20 years ago, you could really just up the ante and go back to 20 years ago. So at the tail end of 2018, I endeavored to try and I started putting together playlists from 1998 and just, really just only listen to things and watch things from 1998. It was kind of, I only started like in the tail end of November. So it wasn't much of it, but I got people involved on my CW Chanter channel doing it as well. And we had this notion of what if we did it together? Would that increase like the effect of it? And for whatever reason, mass, suggestion or collective unconscious, or if it really did have an effect on an individual, effect on people giving feedback loops to each other, self-suggestion, whatever. People started freaking out and having real effects or whatever, whether it was going to happen anyway, or like any occult practice or spiritual practice or any practice of self-hypnosis or self-suggestion, you get out of it what you put into it, and it's like a mental health hazard zone. You want to freak yourself out by overthinking or driving yourself crazy with magical thinking, you can. That's why you got to be careful with magical thinking. Anyway, some people really truly drove themselves bonkers. I had a relapse. I wasn't the only one. A lot of people really freaked themselves out, but whatever. My fascination with the time travel experiments continued unabated, and especially in 2019, I kept on going with it full bore. Life got really complicated for me in 2019. In 2019, I also had a crazy, crazy affair, which led to a divorce. So my time travel experiments were also complicated by the fact that my time travel experiments were superimposed and juxtaposed against really dynamic life changes as well. So a lot of stuff was going on. Anyway, come to the present moment. Also, throughout my times, at one point I abandoned the time travel technology and the nostalgia loop, traveling back in time stuff, because due to my, frequently relapses, I abandoned all magical practices, because I abandoned all practices that were designed to make change happen in accordance with one's will, whether this was an actualized thing that would actually happen or whether it was just a psychological process of suggesting to yourself, empowering yourself to, visualize change and therefore manifest change, whatever, however you understand magical things and how they work or whatever. Literally, figuratively, metaphorically, however you do. And I'm an atheist. I don't take any of these things for granted. I don't know how the world works. I don't. But I was aware of the fact that I was open to suggestions about how to solve my problems with frequent relapses on, alcohol and stuff. So I abandoned the pursuit of making change happen in accordance with my will and accepted the fact that of the philosophies that I should explore were philosophies that said, don't make things happen and change in accordance with your will, but accept things in the world that don't exist in accordance with your will, but rather accept things as they are. And therefore stopped doing things like trying to escape the present time space and just be in the present moment, and just stop trying to change things and just try and be. My change on that, or my desire to go back or use the technology or use magical thinking or magical processes or occult processes, no way, shape, or form a rejection of any of that, of acceptance of things as they are, or any sort of lifestyle that encouraged me to abandon magical processes. They have become divergent interests, divergent processes, and they've become non-contradictory. We say hello to Sunshine on Sophia. We welcome back Jet Petty, who has found the stream again. Thank you. Welcome back. Signs and innuendos, circumstances and coincidences. Hits and misses. If we're looking for signs that the experiments are working, we look for synchronicities. And we're just trying to have fun, and we're playing a game. So the 20-year loop was there, and we were using it for this time travel experiment. But I was aware of the fact that as I was studying these nostalgia loops, that though I was married to this concept of the 20-year nostalgia loop, a lot of that was the fact that it was kind of a proprietary thing. I had always been talking about this 20-year nostalgia loop. But in reality, there was, when I studied it, there was a 25-year loop. A lot of people talked and identified a 30-year nostalgia loop as being the primary nostalgia loop. I can see that, based on feedback loops, that there was also a 40-year loop, and every loop, has a, feedback loop. So if there's a 30-year loop, that means there's a 60-year loop. If there's a 25-year loop, there's a 50-year loop. And then also when I noticed that we've been this far in human history, of recorded history, 2000 is feeding back to 1980. Okay, well, if there's also a 25-year loop, that means that 2005 is also feeding back to 1980. If there's a 20-year loop, then 2000 is feeding back to 80 on a 20-year loop. If there's a 25-year loop, then 2005 is also feeding back to 2000. But on the 20-year loop, then 1985, then 2005 is going back to 1985. So all these things are feeding back on each other. So things are overlapping at a certain point, and so it becomes crazy. So by the time you get to things like, 2012, 2015, things are feeding back and on top of each other. It's like, how do you pull things apart? When you go back and you're nostalgic for the year 2000, is it the year 2000? Is it 1980? Is it 1975 on a 25-year loop? And when you have 1980 on top of 1975, and when you think about what 1975 is versus 1980, because part of the thing is that as technology changes, the speed of technology changes as well. The difference in technology evolution between 1975 and 1985 is incredibly dramatic between the technological evolution between say 2005 and 2015. If you look between 1975 and 1985, it looks like, it might as well be 20 years. I mean, it looks like, the world has evolved like aliens have come over. I mean, it looks like a completely different world. Not so with 2005 and 2015. And when you get to 2015 or if you get to say if you watch stuff from 2000, from 10 years ago, there's no difference at all. If you want to do nostalgia loop stuff, I'm currently in 2000 and I've been working on 2013 stuff from 10 years ago. Basically doing a nostalgia loop jump to 2013. And I can tell you, in music and movies and books, it's in video games, it's indistinguishable. The video game technology is indistinguishable. There is no sacrifice of fidelity. I mean, with YouTube videos, that's about the only place there, and that's only with people that we're still using webcams. There are people that are just using regular, that are making kind of professional grade videos. The difference between Alex Jones videos, but from 2013, Alex Jones style presenters from 2013 versus 2023, no difference whatsoever. Right? HD webcam technology from 10 years ago to now, it's HD webcam technology. No fucking difference at all. And I'll tell you this, with the kind of the vaporwave aesthetics of the purple and the pink with the driver kind of aesthetics with the synthwave stuff, they were doing that 10 years ago. Vaporwave with 2011, 2013 was the first peak wave of synthwave and vaporwave. So it's all the so it's it's that guy from Machete, I'm blanking on his name, but come on, man. They're cutting to just his black silhouette on the purple and pink backgrounds with the neon and the white graphics going, cutting to the white black lightning and shit, all that stuff. They're doing all that. Catherine from my girl from actually from Instagram, right? I think. Or I don't know. I think I know you from Instagram. I think I know you from Instagram. Maybe I'm getting you confused. I'm sorry. I apologize if I'm this. And then we got Elaine Ebony too. I might be getting you confused. If I'm getting it twisted. I apologize. I hope I'm not getting too excited. I apologize if I'm getting twisted. I apologize. Anyway, oh shit! Oh, thank God! Oh, thank God! I was like, oh my God, please! Oh God! I hope I don't foul out. Don't let me foul out. Oh wow! I got a person from Instagram. Awesome, awesome. Okay, so check this out. So it's like it's right there, and that's like retro on retro. Anyway, so here's the thing. How are you going to be? So here's the thing though. When I was doing it in all that stuff, a lot of the hashtag no new music, I was taking a kind of a negative bent on it. Like, we've run out of ideas. We're in a ghetto. Like, it's over. But now my thing is this: is that like maybe we've just reached a kind of like, we can think of it as a kind of ancient phase where, if you look at ancient tribal cultures, they doing what they're doing, like cave paintings, like if you look at historical records, like those cave paintings, they were doing that for like like a long ass time. Like we think like they did this and then they did this and then they did this and then they did this. No, like they did that. And then they did boom, 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 and then, you know what I mean? Like that. It's like only in like the short period of time that we went like, and then we did this and the printing press and then rocks, like it's like all that. Like for a longest period of time, it was like cave painting. Do you know what I mean? Like and like, you know what I mean? Like drumming and shit, and like have this pearl. Like, here's a she shell, bitch. You're my woman now. Glad I met you on Insta. That's it. One seashell. Hope you live. That's what we got. Like my painting. I see you next year. Right? Nope. Oh, that's it. Getting eaten. Peace. Nice. See ya. Adios. Right? That's it. Right? You know what I mean? Tell my story. Do you know what I mean? Handprint on the wall. Right? Tell people I was here. You know what I mean? Adios. And maybe we're just at that phase where it's like we got jungle, drum and bass, techno, hip hop. We got all the shit and, laptops and like, and we got that. There you go. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. All right, Jason, there you go. By any means necessary. You know what I mean? We deliver. God's love, we deliver. There you go. There you go. Unfortunately, I cut the cord, so I can't get that shit to get the rabbit ears out, man. What the frig? They've got Night Court back. Jason Albert's letting me know he told me on Twitter. Okay, so here we go. Now we're gonna get to it. So where's the lay of the land? Where am I letting you know? Shit. The one person that I'm pissed off is not back is the elephant in the room. Shit. Let me do this. Hold on. Anyway. That got rebooted, right? Time Ship is from 1983. Okay. It got reprinted after it was out of print. It got reprinted after 35 years, but I didn't get it until 2023. So I didn't get it until after 40 years. The 40-year nostalgia loop. When it came out in 1983, I was born in 1975. So in 1980, I was 5. In 1983, I was 8. 8 is one of my magic numbers. My magic numbers are 2, 4, 8, 11, and 22, 44. That's it. I don't really clock up. 88 is like the upper limit. I don't go beyond 88. And really 44 is at a stretch. It's really 22 is the top. But 8 is most definitely. So in 2023, even though I would have actually I got it in 2022. So 2022, in preparation to take off in 2023, even though I'm at war with 23 because I hate 23, after 40 years, pay attention, that's another magic number, 40 years, it comes to us when it was made in 1983 when I was 8. Make of that what you will. Some will just say that we're grasping for straws. Some will say other things. 1983, Jilly was in 3rd grade. People will have their other resonances. Catherine was in 3rd grade as well. Other people will have their other references. Sunshine Cecilia points out that there's also that 90s show on that they're rebooting on Netflix. "2013 was also the year that I got Mind War by Colonel Michael Aquino." Just have that. Oh, here's something interesting. The second role-playing game, the second tabletop role-playing game of all time is Tunnels and Trolls. The first role-playing game of all time is Dungeons and Dragons. Ken St. Andre, who wrote Tunnels and Trolls, got a copy of said game, Dungeons and Dragons, and said that it didn't really kind of make much sense to him and thought that he could do better. So in 1975, the year that I was born, he wrote Tunnels and Trolls. In 2013, there was a Kickstarter to start the process of rebooting Tunnels and Trolls. Eventually, they did it in 2015. I was doing my most recent time jump in 2022 to 2015. I did a lot of work on 2015 and 2022 because I was doing a psychic investigation. I was using the applied time travel technology to go back in 2015 with an agenda. Because 2015 was when I turned 40 and when I started my YouTube channel, and I was going back to 2015 with an agenda to try and figure out what the fuck happened because the whole thing had gone shits and giggles. The whole thing had blown up. So it's just non sequitur. I'm just mentioning 2015, so whatever. But in 2013, work had begun. So as part of a Kickstarter campaign, they reissued the original first edition from 1975. So I just have a reprint here. This is available free online. So in 2013, I'm doing this time travel experiment. And here I have a first edition reprint marked 2013. Because in 2013, so this can only happen a couple of different ways. You understand that these synchronicities can only happen, they can only be set up. I have to be born in 1975. Ken St. Andre has to write this thing in 1975. He can only be inspired to write this in 1975. And Gary Gygax and Dave Arneson write Dungeons and Dragons in 1974. And this has to be reissued in 2013 for it to be synchronistically connected to our time jump experiments, for it to be resonate, to have it be exactly 10 years ago. Now, is it getting weird for you guys? I mean, it's just coincidences and circumstances, but it's weird to me. Is it? I mean, is it weird to you or is it just weird to me? I don't know. So we're gonna come up with the rules as we go, and I guess I'm starting to come up with the rules. We knew this is that so here's me starting to take notes as I'm watching the different movies from 2013. I'm noting the different synchronicities and stuff. And I guess each trope that you note, you write down each trope that you note from the movie, that you note from movies in general. It can either be a synchronicity that you know personally, like it could be a personal synchronicity, like, oh my God, I note that. Or it could be a generic synchronicity, like a cop mentor who looks the other way. Like for the movie Odd Thomas from 2013, there's like the William Dafoe is a cop who like from that show Dexter. Like whenever there's like how does that that bounty hunter that works like in between the law like get away with it? Oh, there's that cop that's always like looking the other way, like, and the FBI agent's like, tell me something, Officer Sheriff Williams, how is it that somehow whenever Dexter Colt is the main suspect in the death of a wanted criminal, you're always the arresting officer? I don't know. It's a small town, not too many arresting officers to go around. But if you're done asking me questions, I'd like to get back to my chicken. I'm done asking you questions now, officer, but I'll be back with a warrant for that arrest record and your arrest book. Well, you come back now with that warrant. I'll be here waiting. I'll be seeing you, Sheriff. Right, the cop that looks the other way. So you write that down, and you write down all these tropes, and then you roll your dice for the tropes. And then what the deal is this is that we're playing a live action. It's not a LARP. A LARP is a live action role playing game where you say, okay, guys, we're going into this special area and we're playing a LARP here. So this Strawberry Johnson Park in Cincinnati, Boopaboo, Bangor, Maine, or whatever is now the wonderful land of Madorkle or whatever. No, we play in the real world. We're playing in the real space. It's a meta RPG. We are traveling through time. We are traveling through the metaverse here as ourselves. We are the dreamers of dreams. We are the music makers. We are rolling the dice. We are earning the XP. When we roll the dice, we are rolling these numbers. We are generating these numbers that can be converted to GP, to Gold P, to XP. We can use it for whatever reason we want to. I don't know. So we write down these tropes and we write down these numbers. So then when we want to use these numbers for various things, like if we've got, these time warriors, like we use like the Tunnels and Trolls rules, like from the various areas to generate characters to occupy these years to, guard our time cubes or our various time lean-tos or sectors of mass mind control or whatever. We can build up their levels by, investing the XP in them, or maybe we invest the XP in the fortifications, like build up their walls or something with it. I don't know. But you can invest the specific XP from the specific trope to make it better. Like, so for example, so here's a great example. So from The Hobbit, right? You see the Hobbit movie, like the second Hobbit movie is from 2013, so it's exactly 10 years ago. And you can, depending on how you feel about different, like vintage, like my attitude about it is things get better the older they are. So things from a decade ago, it's good because it's easier to digest. It's not hard. Yeah, I'm documenting. Catherine's like, I'm documenting this. I'm documenting this at the wazoo. And Catherine, the great thing is, unfortunately for you, you're documenting it as well. Your poor innocent brain is documenting this. You will never get this time back. There's part of your brain, when I speak this way, Catherine, here's what's happening. Before your brain can determine that this is audio garbage, that this is word salad that makes no sense, it has to evaluate it first. Think about that. For the love of God, get out before it's too late. These Jason Albert, Jilly Beans, talk to these people in the live chat, exchange words with them. Their life has not been improved by mass exposure to the radiation that is me. It has not helped things whatsoever. Now let me get this Aaron situation. Get warm. Oh, The Hobbit. Here, check this out. Check this out. So Hobbit 2, The Desolation of Smaug. Great. Insanity. I love the original Jim from the original Office, which is great because he's the same fucking guy. This guy, I love these guys who are like Christopher Walken. I'm like, this guy's not acting. Why do people not give this guy roles that this guy's not acting? This is incredible. He's the most amazing actor I've ever seen. He's never played a different guy in his life. It's Jim from The Office. Oh, really? Oh. It's just Jim from The Office. They just gave him like big feet shoes and told him to go walk around being Jim from The Office in the old fucking land. You know what I mean? Hey, Jim from The Office, pick up this fucking log pipe. Oh, really? Oh, really? I don't fancy that. It's that's just the fucking Jim from The Office. Anyway, the original Office. Anyway, great IB. Great ID for ID. Jeez. What do you mean ID? I have ID. I'm okay. You can let me in. It's fine. This is what you should do. You just let me in. Then I'm going to talk to the bartender. If he says it's okay, then I'm sure your boss will have no idea what the problem is. Anyway, here we go. Great idea for XP generation, specialized from The Hobbit to The Desolation of Smaug from 2013. Inspired by, I guess, I'm calling it the Ring of Invisibility, but I guess it's just the ring, right? Whatever the fucking ring is. Every time I guess it's Bilbo Baggins, puts it on and off, you can count it as an opportunity to roll for energy. Amazing for crafting, especially rings of invisibility or cloaks of invisibility. Remember, for 2013 systems. Okay, so check this out. So when I was originally watching the movie The Hobbit, from the second one from 2013, Jim from The Office is a nostalgia loop, so I rolled for that. It's like Dungeons and Dragons-esque fantasy thing, so I rolled for that. What the fuck is that notation? Oh, that old VHS. Do you remember the fucking Ralph Bakshi original Hobbit? There was always, if you were in America, they always used to show this old, Mark Toronto, we shout out to you. The original, the original Hobbit. If you were in America, if you grew up in America, especially if you used to watch this old network called Nickelodeon, they used to always show this commercial for Ralph Bakshi's original animated Hobbit, where the great thing about it was available on VHS and Betamax. So for a million years, they showed this, but this was back when they talk about these things like this concept of lost media. Before the internet, there was a period of time where you could be exposed to things like that thing. You'd see that, and then it would go away. And if your mother or father didn't actually order that for you on VHS or Betamax, and what was funny is that I actually knew like one or two people who had it, but they had it on Betamax, and their Betamax machines had both broken. So we both had me and my group of friends both had friends who had like the Betamax versions, like just as display units. It was just like in college, they like had like, oh, check this out. It was like they had it, but they couldn't play it because no one had Betamax machines. They just had it as a reminder of, holy shit, they had this thing. And it wasn't until 2000, 2001, whatever it was, when someone actually got off their ass and reissued it on DVD. You can't do that on television. Yeah, they're slimed. You know what I mean? I don't know, right? So so that was that. That was that. And then Detect Magic, like when I guess it's the one, the I forget his name, the because I didn't watch the Lord of the Rings guys, so I know that one of these, like the one of these elves is like, a lot of these elves are famous because they show up later on. They show up later on, earlier on in the Lord of the Rings movies. But the hottie with the body, the long haired guy, the quintessential long haired white haired elf, whatever his name is, when he turns around, because even though Bilbo Baggins is invisible because he's got the ring, you see the blonde haired guy, the white haired guy turn around, and it's like, because the elf can detect magic, even though there's no, that he's, the guy's invisible, you get the sense that he's detecting magic. So I wrote that down for Detect Magic. And then also Detect Hidden Construction, when the dwarves, they're going to the mountain, and it's before they enter, they haven't found the keyhole yet. If the spoiler, the movie's 10 years old. They haven't found the mountain yet. Anyone who plays Dungeons and Dragons knows dwarves have a natural skill and ability. And because they have this natural skill and ability in Dungeons and Dragons, but you have to also know and understand, like, Dungeons and Dragons is informed by like years and years of research about like fantasy. Like Gary Gygax kind of like did a lot of like research into like fantasy characters and like what makes a dwarf, and what is supposed to be the stuff. Like dwarves are supposed to have this natural skill to be able to understand construction, and especially construction in relation to underground construction and constructions with, mountain stuff and like, hidden stuff. So when all the dwarves, when they go to that where the hidden door is supposed to be, and they immediately go up to it and start like knocking it and shit, I'm like, I wrote it down as Detect Hidden Construction. I'm like, that's them using that skill. I was like, fucking A. I'm like, there's no fucking way that Peter Jackson didn't do that scene. And I'm like, there's no fucking way that like none of those fucking actors didn't know D&D, especially as dwarves. They didn't, like midgets, didn't know like, we're doing fucking Detect Magic. We're doing Detect Hidden Construction here. One of them had to know. I'm sorry. So whatever. Well, I shouldn't say that. That's a huge assumption on my part. Actually, I should fucking take that back. Anyway, so then I should put the ring. So anyway, so you have a ring of invisibility. So every time the guy uses the ring, Bilbo Baggins uses the ring, you could watch that movie, and every single time he uses the ring, you could count it up too. I mean, if you're a guy or a gal that really likes, or a person in between, or a person that doesn't use genders, and you, or person, I should just say, I should just, if I just got rid of guy or gal and just started using if you're a person, I think that would just solve it. Should I just go start, they're minors? Mark Tarana, I think they were adults. They had gray-haired beards. I mean, I don't know how long a dwarf lives. I mean, elves live pretty long, so I guess they seemed like they were adults to me, though. Oh, minors. Jilly Bean. So in the nostalgia loop, can we assume we might find the Mandela effects? Absolutely. Don't assume anything. Jilly Bean. Sean Austin from the Goonies is in Lord of the Rings. Hey. And I love how it's like the minute I said to Catherine, like, get out of here, before it's too late. She's gone. She's out of the live chat. Anyway. Oh, things are, but remember, things are system specific. You can use the XP from 2013 for 2013 systems, but don't mix the streams. Don't use 2013 energy for 2013 systems or systems that came, you know, after it. Don't use you really should only use 2013. Oh no, I should forget I said it. That I ran a risk there. Use 2013 energy only for 2013 systems. Be careful. Here are the rules are created as we go. Also, you can take your energy and give it to people. Like you could say, like if people need energy, you could give it to people. That's why you want to be aware of like what the energy is and where it comes from. Also, like like stuff like here, like check this out. Here's one you'll like. Here's one that you'll recognize. Sepia tone newsprint, collage deformities, and medical oddities. You know that one, like that, where they did that in the movies, where it's like, like they cut to all those weird things. You could save up a whole bunch of energy of that stuff and put it into like a particular character that you need to hunt ground. The point is to get you generating energy by rolling dice against our enemies or in aid of our allies or in simple effort to fuel our time rockets. The energy is generated by rolling dice by any means necessary. Character creation feedback loop method. Because character creation is a process and process produces XP, you can roll based on actions related to character creation. A feedback loop is created, which can be exploited. Once it gets going, it goes. Future spouts. A book about a future, like Star Corpsman from 2013. A book about a future is from a year like 2013. There's a portal to that future, an escape tunnel, a portal to that universe, a jump gate technology. So, like for example, we talked about the Dune books, like Brian Herbert's um, 2002 Butlerian Jihad book. It's also connected to the expanded Dune universe. So if I've got a time station in 2002 and I'm under attack by frantic conservobots or radical pinks or freaky urbanskis, I could jump into the time vortex in 2002 to the expanded Dune universe, and then I could pop out into my time tent in 2007 via Sandworms of Dune from 2007. I think it's from 2007. Or another book from hypothetically a book from 2007, as long as it's connected to the Dune universe, and then there you go, Bob's your uncle, and I've escaped. See how it works? Isn't it fun? And so there you go. Catherine's back. Catherine says, y'all, I've been coming under an alias for years. I was watching Sniff back when he had cats. Yo, oh my God. Yo, I still. And meanwhile, meanwhile, I was thinking that I had thought to myself, well, at least I generated one new person on Instagram. So I'm just recycling. It's the soul family. The Emerald Tablets of Hermes, Hermes Trismegistus. This was gifted to me by the woman who gave me Arlo. The woman who gave me Arlo, the same time that they gave me Arlo, the same one that gave me Arlo, gave me a huge pile of books, including this Emerald Tablet of Hermes. From when? 2013. 2013. This came into my house the same day that Arlo did. Synchronicities? When we were talking about the whole hashtag no new music, and it's a real shame that Spooky isn't here for this one. When we were talking about the whole hashtag no new music that was specifically related to the nostalgia loops, we were always talking about an individual by the name of Mark Fisher, a person who ended their life, a philosopher, a media analyst, who was always talking about, and whose my thing about hashtag new music was very related to their work and their quintessential book, Ghosts of My Life, Writings on Depression, Hauntology, and Lost Futures, which was published by Zero Books. It was first published by Zero Books in 2013, but the text copyright, If I'm Lying, I'm Dying, is 2013. Arlo is fantastic. Again, Tunnels and Trolls, written in 1975, the year that I was born. This reissue, 2013, the decade that I'm returning to. Time Shift, discovered in 2022, but 1983, 40 years ago, 40-year nostalgia loop. Published in 1983 when I was 8, my magic number. Folks, Mark Fisher, Ghost of My Life, hashtag no new music, 2013. Folks, Emerald Tablets of Hermes from 2013 coming into my life the same day by the same hand that brought me Arlo. I do know that. Oswald Spangler, CW, you know that Zero Books disbanded last year, right? Right? Yes, I do. All good things come to an end. This is why we can't have nice things. Because we're leftists. Hold on, guys. 1 second. I'll be right back. I'm just going to mute you 1 second. I'll be right back. Right back. I'll be right back. I'm not going to end the stream. I'll be right back. Okay, so sorry, but listen, interruptions happen. Life is what happens when you're busy making other plans. Sorry about the interruptions, but interruptions happen. There you go. There you go. Okay, so life happens. We go with the flow. So, anyway, going through things as they happen, going through my notes. So, as we do, some of this stuff is repetition. I'm getting excited. I'm excited. The explosion of excitement, the explosion of information, will stabilize over time. Eventually, I'll reach a point where we'll get to the episodes where I'm repeating the rules or centralizing the rules or codifying the rules. We're getting to the point where I'm still got to the point where we just came up with, I think is going to be the name because I got the jingle. SSP, TTT, the Meta RPG, and which led me to the title of the first video, even though that was the video that got ixnayed because I got the first interruption, where I said I lay claim to the name Secret Space Program. SSP, TTT, the Meta RPG, Secret Space Program, who owns it? It's a generic term. Therefore, I'm taking it from my RPG. I've got a tune. I think it's catchy. SSP, TTT, the Meta RPG, Secret Space Program, time travel technology. If I take it, then these people are already doing my promo work. Guys, gals, I may have really cracked the nut. Here's the thing also. If I do this, if I go crazy, but now here I am. Oh my God, but I'm recruiting the kids for this role-playing game. But oh my God, didn't I also mention Colonel Michael Aquino? But that's satanic, the satanic panic. Oh no. But wait, does Stephen Cambion have to come after me? Because aren't I doing the thing that Corey Good did, right? With the graphic novels to the kids? But then we've got a little industry. But then if Stephen Cambion's in on it because I'm friends with him, then, right? Everybody eats. Everybody eats. We can all eat, right? And the people are mollified because they're actually doing something worthwhile because they are all of a sudden generating by their own efforts data, right, which feeds the system. Oh, here we go. The saga continues. Let me just read the rules because it's not too much. New time travel project 2013 era mind war. Well, we don't need to do that. Here we go. Building up the mythology as we go. We are the music makers and we are the dreamers of dreams. Die energy generation. Oh, so easy. Just roll dice. Die energy is universal, fungible, and transferable. That can go back and forth between worlds, literally. Use it for anything, anywhere. Earn it by doing time work. Apply that specific time work experience to specific time warriors for specific results. Who knows what those might be? Because of what was watched and consumed to earn ironic or in concert. Same era, though. The energy is not just specific to you, it only exists as in relationship to other reference points, a specific location and time. Therefore, each experience of 2013 is 2013 experience. One roll for every minute of a 10-minute session, or one roll for 10 minutes spent meditating on a specific year. It is an instance specific and for the individual to decide. Very similar to Commonwealth chanting. Also, how many dice to roll? Same issue, same answer. Also, you may have an emergent need for a lot of XP. Therefore, you should be able to theoretically roll every die in your house to add up all the pips to get a huge number, and re-roll and keep adding if you need to speed level your squads. Like I'm basically saying, like there's we're really loose here. Temples and book stupas, temporary manifestations of your time tents on the other sides here. Serve to charge items not actually possessed at times and errors in the past. A lot of the stuff we got to fill out. Also, locations for figures to climb and adventure. See Phil K. Dick and Perky Pat. Achoo! 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 Oh, here we go. The manifesto of craptology. Here's something new. The notion of quality is an irrelevancy in defense of the craptapulous. All that matters is the year. Everything else is irrelevant. Therefore, genre fiction is king and or queen of the castle. You can simply feel free to shop by year, which makes bargain basement shopping a breeze. All your garbage is now awesome. You're welcome. Particularly irrelevant pieces of media crap will be good for us because we alone will build up resonance and energy vibration around them, free of interference from the norms, squares, and pinks. To the degree that it is a journaling game, it is not a personal diary. It is a scientific log documenting an experiment. That last part was not related to the first part. So the manifesto of craptology, all that matters is the year that something came out. It doesn't matter the quality. So people are like, "Oh, you want a 2013 video game? Oh, which one? It's got to be a good one." No, it doesn't. All that matters is playing a video game from 2013, playing a video game from 2003 for the 20-year loop, playing a game from 1993 for the 30-year loop, playing a game from 1998 for the 25-year loop. Right? All that matters is the year of resonance to build up the loop, to build up the time, to generate the time tunnel, to generate the location point, to build up the station. Ideally, you would want high quality. But in lieu of high quality, you work with what you can get. And in fact, you want a little bit of off. Look, okay. Let me say, 25 years ago was movies of 1998. Popular movies of 1998. Let's see. Okay. We've got here's some great examples. Okay, so we've got Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas that someone just mentioned because of Backcountry. We also have Pi. We also have Kurt Russell's Soldier, right? We have Fallen. We have Slums of Beverly Hills. I'm thinking of things we could work with. We have The Faculty. We have Ants, which is a little CGI. We have The X-Files. We have Star Trek. What is that? Insurrection. We also have American History X. We also have Saving Private Ryan. So we have some soldiers. We have Patch Adams. We have a doctor. We have Can't Hardly Wait, that teen like kind of thing. But also you see 1998, that's getting into. So 1998, what's the 20-year nostalgia loop on that? Is 1978. What's that? Why did I mention that? Because look, Can't Hardly Wait was the beginning of the resurgence of the wacky teen sex comedies. If you look at the beginning of the resurgence of the right after Can't Hardly Wait comes what? American Pie. Meatballs came out in like 78, 79. Right? We think of like the wacky 80s teen comedies with the titties and thing. We think of the wacky 80s teen comedies. Those movies actually started in the late 70s, 78, 79. Meatballs and friggin', you know what I mean? Are you ready for the summer? You know, all that shit. The titties and the fucking the girls and the oh my god, oh, we're gonna get laid, man. Oh, I can't believe we're gonna get laid. Holy shit. All that stuff started in the late 70s. We associated with the 80s, but it's actually all our sense of like history and stuff. A lot of that, you know, if you look at Hustler magazines from like 1978 and 79, 90% of what we associate with the 80s, like the black and white checkerboard patterns and the neon purple, you know, the visors and all that shit, all the girls were already wearing that in 79. It's hard to keep on bringing up pornography, but you know what I mean? If you look at the American women's liberal history class opening segment of intro to class, what? I have no idea what I'm talking. I can't tell you what that looks like because I haven't seen that shit. I could tell you I could do an in-depth analysis of 1998's Can't Hardly Wait and how it relates to the resurgence of 80s teen comedies. You see me, I just did it for you. You can see me pull that shit apart like nobody's fucking business, right? But women being classy, it's Catherine on Instagram. There's Jilly. She's got Chili Beans. There's all sorts of women that turn out to be okay. That I'm constantly like, why the fuck you? What the hell are you doing here? Some sort of dark side. I don't know what the fuck's going on with you. Sleazy science to these ladies. I have no idea. But I don't even know where I was going with that. Oh, but the point is, where I was going, I was actually looking for Blade. I was looking, but the point where Big Lebowski. The point where I was going with this is Ronin. Where I was going with this is that there's guys and gals that you would look to be your you might look to be your warriors. Your particular perfect. Blade did come out in 1998. That's exactly how I was going for. Now, you might want to build up Blade. You might watch a lot of Blade from 1998. But here's the thing. It's 25 years ago. If I know that we're rocking 25 years ago, I know you're rocking Blade. I'm rocking Blade. Everyone's going to rock Blade like they were we're studying 1998. And that's going to also bring us to, I got a lot of shit in my house. I got a lot of role playing games. But if I'm going to be doing this 25-year nostalgia loop, 30-year nostalgia loop, 10-year nostalgia loop, there's going to be a lot of role playing games, a lot of video games that I'm going to be working with. And there's going to be a lot of shit that I'm not going to be touching this year. That's going to be a broken heart. Is it? But there's going to be actually shit that I'm going to actually work with if I take this shit seriously. But anyway, let's go back to Blade. If we're working 1998, if we're working 25-year nostalgia loop, in 1998, there's going to be technology of 1998. And working the 25-year nostalgia loop, you better fucking believe that Blade, the movie Blade, is, how would I rate Blade in 1998 as far as this game that we're playing as CW Time Lord? What do I recommend to the students of this game that we're playing? Blade is like your 10 GP short sword. I don't see it as an option about whether or not you're coming out of your first level character creation not investing time, energy, and effort in Blade. How are you not watching Blade at least once to write down in your journal and getting the XP on Hard as Nails, Black Ass half vampire killer, knowing that every other mother is going to have Blade. You need Blade just to have anti-Blade antibodies. When you watch Blade, you know at least that you are programming your own interior technology to have at least a front run of having in your data log, right? Your internal computer, right? The boo 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 boo. This is Blade. These are the characters in the Blade movie. Here are there are, and also here's another thing. There are no NPCs in SSP TTT. There are no NPCs in SSP TTT. There are no NPCs in SSP TTT. All moral and ethical questions and concerns exist for everything. Here's the other thing about this game. You've got questions and concerns in your world about whether gods exist, whether goddesses exist, whether you have a soul or all this stuff. In this game, I am CW Time Master. I am CW Time Lord. I am CW everything. Right? I made my. I'm choosing to sneeze. Hold on. Yeah! You motherfucker. Anyhow, in SSP, TTT, gods and goddesses are real. You have a soul. So if you want a soul, very easy. Choose to play this game and you got a soul instantaneously. You're welcome. How you like me now? I gotta get a tissue. Jump back, kiss myself. And it's at this point that I have to say, I'm not crazy. I just play I just play a guy on TV. What you get out of this game, you put into it. Trust and believe. Hold on. Yeah. Get my safety tissue. It's always tough with this salt and pepper beard. It's nasty because you can't tell. You're like, oh man, is that like a gray hair or snoodle? Gray hair or snoodle? Can't tell. Can't tell. Get nervous. Anyway, woo! Getting excited. Getting excited. Make sure I didn't miss anything. The manifesto of craptology. So all this stuff. So I buy crap in bulk. I gotta stop buying. I bought too much shit. Don't let this stuff feed your consumer addictions. If you got consumer addictions, I have to control mine. I'm stopping. I got enough. Look through your stuff that you have. You can reinvigorate the stuff you already own. Go through your old stuff and look at it in a new way. Instead of going to the bookstore, instead of going to the record store, shop in your own crap again. Because you probably don't look at your stuff by year. You probably have never looked specifically at the data point of the chronology of your books, media, movies, tapes, CDs, and all that stuff. And if you do, you'd be amazed at things that you see coming together and the synchronicities and combinations that you see or might see. So Blade would be standard issue protocol 1998, maybe, but that doesn't mean you have to. But knowing that everyone is probably going to be rocking Blade, you also know that you're going to want to make sure to have stuff that's not Blade. If everyone's got Blade, maybe you want to make sure to have Ants. Have you ever seen Ants? It's not the shittiest movie. It's not the best movie, but it's got guys in it. They've got army ants. They've got ants. They've got ants. Also, Species 2 is a piece of garbage. But if you think of the unrealistic, crazy, insane shit that the unmitigated disaster of a undefined genetic monstrosity that is the Species thing can do, my God, you want to know about it? Train yourself on Species 2. What am I describing? You are the artificial intelligent algorithm. Folks, here's the thing. I'm like Kyle Reese. No, I'm not. I'm like the other guy. I'm like beyond that. I'm like more than that. What I'm trying to do is I'm trying to teach you. I'm like the guy that was born inside the machine, but I'm better. I'm like the architect. It's like in this version of the Matrix, the architect is on the side of the humans. And the Oracle is like a bitch who's trying to help out the AI people. And I'm telling you guys, here, folks, be like the AIs. Take the shit from the past and recycle it and make it new things. By having fun with it and by playing a game. I'm gonna get personal for a minute. Oh, one last thing. And then I think I sense it wrapping up on me. And I think that I have excitement, but I need to know and understand that I have to be in it for the long haul. Whether I like it or lump it, whether I love it or hate it. The stuff from 2013 will only be exactly 10 years old on a 10-year loop this year. That comet will only come around this year. It'll be 11 years old on an 11-year loop, which I love that resonance personally next year. But the point is this: life on life's terms, accepting things for what they are. It will be a decade old. It will be on the 10-year loop this year. The stuff, look, all of this is Dungeons and Dragons 3.5. This is all from 2003. All of this will be on the 20-year nostalgia loop, exactly on the 20-year nostalgia loop for this 365-day cycle. It will be on that 20-year nostalgia loop for that period of time. Then I can wait 5 more years and it'll be on a 25-year nostalgia loop. Then I can wait another 5 years and it'll be on a 30-year nostalgia loop. But it'll be on this nostalgia loop now. And I've got books from and this stuff is not like, it's not like you just read these books, right? These books are supposed to be played, right? So theoretically, like each of these books you would be like involved with, like for like, well, like each of these books you buy them, they're like, you buy this book and you unlock like a lifetime of adventures in the Underdark, right? Like theoretically, you're supposed to be there for like ever and a day. So it's like, what, the fun never ends. Well, the fun never starts because you kept on buying these books. Like, what the fuck? Anyway, obviously, it's this. It goes to this Annis Nin quote. People confuse the purchasing of a book with the purchasing of the time to read it. But if I'm serious about consuming or experiencing the books that I have on the 20-year loop, the 10-year loop, and the 25-year loop, that's all I'm doing. I don't have time for books from 1998, or I don't have time for book. I have time for books from 1998 because they're from 25 years. I don't have time for 2011. What I did last night is I took books from 2011, 2012, 2015. I had all these other books from these other eras. I put them away. I started putting them away because I realized, I said, if I want to do this shit, I have to fucking focus. I looked at this shit, and because what ended up happening all throughout these other years, I started building up these. I started like in 2020, when I was still living with Kelly, was when I started jumping around. Like in 2019, when I was doing the 1999 loop, I was really pretty consistent with it, with still sticking to it. Like I would fall out of it, but I would go back to it and stick it to a 20-year nostalgia loop, and I was really kind of going nuts with that. And like having all these effects and whatever, but it was also, I was out of the house. It was all this transition stuff, but whatever. But it was when we got to 2020, which was the going back to 2000, was when I realized I started having real problems, because that was the first year that I was like, 2000 was the first year that I was like feeling like, that was the first year that I noticed the nostalgia loop. So that was the first year that I was like feeling like old, like we were repeating shit. Like part of the reason I felt like I noticed the nostalgia loop was because I was old enough to notice like history repeating. I was 20 years old, right? I was 25 years old. I was 1975. I was born in 1975. So I started noticing a loop when I was, CW is more D&D books than Peter Thiel, right? That's impossible. Peter Thiel is more. Yes. Um, but that's part. I don't believe that they have spiritual entities attached to them. But I believe that they have energy with them, but I don't believe that energy can be negative. I believe that the energy. I believe that time is palpable. So I prefer physical items to non-physical items, and I prefer things that have been in the wild to, like, if I have an opportunity to buy a pristine new book versus buying something that's been battered, but that's cheap, I'll buy the cheap battered one, not just because it's less money, but also because the notion of it being, having had, the kinetic energy of life, you know, Arizona Sedona has, Bangor, Maine has banged on its main in physical form. You know what I mean? The molecules of life have been, injected into it, physically. I don't know. It is what it is. And that's like, you should see, and if you think that I've Oswald Spengler, if you're looking at that and saying that I have more books than Peter Thiel, I have, that's just 3.5. This is like, to say that I have, I mean, it's ridiculous the amount of money that I spent. I spent too much money recently. I mean, the last couple of years since the passing of my father, but that has to do with a lot of different things that we might get into over time. We may not. It depends. But I'm trying to stop. Well, I'm working on it. I'm stopping. I didn't spend too much because they're, well, I'm not going to get to too much personal information, but it'll be hard for me to, what doing. Anyway, let's talk about this. We're going to get into synchronicities. So as I was heading into 2023, I was already collecting a lot of these books. I was already collecting a lot of these books and making the decision to build up a lot of these collections. I had ordered this book anticipating that it was from my freshman year in high school. Advanced Dungeons and Dragons second edition was issued in 1989. Its revised reprint was issued in like 1995 with a different series of covers and kind of updated material. The Monstrous Manual is a little bit different because when they first came out with the Monster Manual, I think this was the second edition. They came out with them. They came out with the Monster Manual different. Like they came out with them, I think originally like folios. Um, yeah, like they came out with this Monstrous Compendium volumes 1 and 2. I think this actually is from 1993, which is great. So this is the Monster Manual from 1993. So there you go. That's right there for my. Here's from copyright 1993, third printing 1994. But still, copyright is 1993, so that's good for me. That works for me on the 30-year nostalgia loop for me. So I've got a second edition Monster Manual. I got that first. And then I got the Player's Handbook. Now, I was very stoked when I opened it up and I saw that while it had the copyright year of 1989, this was from the 10th printing, August. Let's see if I can get this here. 10th printing, August 1993. August 1993. August 1993. I was born in August. I graduated high school in 1993. 1993 is the 30-year nostalgia loop. So if this Player's Handbook was an original issue from 1989, I'd be screwed because I'd have a Monster Manual from 93 on the nostalgia loop from second edition, but I'd have no Player's Handbook. But because I have a Player's Handbook that was reprinted in 1993, I have a Player's Handbook that is doubly works for me because it not only could I use it because it's copyrighted in 1989, so I could use it on an 89 nostalgia loop, but I can also use it for our 30-year nostalgia loop because this physical book was printed in 1993, the month that I was born, on my birthday. Talk about a birthday from the universe. That's the kind of shit that I'm looking for. Now, this stuff, it may be in the way that I communicate it to you, or it may just be the way that it emotionally resonates for me, but that doesn't emotionally resonate for you, that this stuff hits me, that doesn't hit you. But for me, that getting an Advanced Dungeons & Dragons Player's Handbook that shouldn't necessarily work on the loop for me, but then turns out to work perfectly on the loop for me, and then also have a bonus thing of being also work on the other loop for me, and then also it bookends my high school. Do you understand? My freshman year in high school was 89-90, and I graduated in 93. So this perfectly bookends my entire high school career. That's like the universe smiling at me for me. So I have this so I'm working on this whole. I'm excited for the first time in 2022. I was supposed to be, because it was a 22 year, I was supposed to be high on life and rocking and rolling and so into things and so like, crazy and killing it and going nuts. And I just wasn't. I was floundering. I started trying to do the action figure stuff, and I just wasn't getting anywhere, and I just couldn't figure out what was going on. And Kelly was getting married. But we were going through all this stuff, and now all of a sudden I'm here, and I'm taking these frenetic, frantic notes, and things are making perfect sense. And I'm feeling like for the first time, I'm like, I know exactly what we're doing. We're doing this. We're doing this crazy game over here where it's a game, where I don't have to worry about saving the world, and I don't have to worry about getting sued by this person because I said we need to protect this person. I don't need to yell and scream, and we can't possibly miss this opportunity because we have to cover this situation in the world, or we got to talk. We don't have to talk about any damn thing, right? We don't have to talk about any gosh darn thing in particular. And all I have to do is encourage you to get involved. Get involved. Get yourself a notebook. Do you want to play the game? Play the game. 10-year nostalgia loop, 20-year nostalgia loop, 25-year nostalgia loop, 30-year nostalgia loop, 40-year nostalgia loop. Pick a nostalgia loop, and your endeavor is to set up a space, a little square, a landing spot. Start off by opening up a tunnel to that space, trying to get there. You might start off with the tools. Worry about a role-playing game. Worry about setting up and building the character and putting a character in Time Warrior. Worry about that. Least of all, you're going to read the role-playing game book first before you do anything. First, worry about just getting what year you're going to. And then worry about coming here on a regular basis and talking to us. And oh, by the way, on February 2nd is going to be the third episode of The Simpsons that we're watching from 2003. Number 3 is happening between you and me over here. It's not happening over on the CW Chanter channel. It's happening over here. And meanwhile, there's people over here on the... I thought this was a role-playing game channel. This is from Oracle of the Shapeshifters by Lucy Cavendish. Artwork by Jasmine Beckett Griffith. Not my favorite Oracle deck. I love the art. The words are the words by Lucy Cavendish. I really was most attracted to it because I was collecting decks by that featured the art of Jasmine Beckett Griffith. And for us, the most important thing is that this is from 2013. And for us, that's all that matters right now. And we pulled the card. My goodness gracious. If I'm lying, I'm dying. And the number on the card is 23. And the number on the card is 23. And it's Quetzalcoatl and the Priestess of Time. Ask me no secrets and I'll tell you no lies. The time has come. The time to act is now. And this is the cards I've been pulling on my personal deck, on my personal altar, my personal journey. This is what it's been telling me, and this is what I know. This is what we're doing. This is what we're doing now. This is the game, and the game is afoot. You want to learn how to play? It's easy. Play. Get involved. But you got to pay attention. And the lunatics haven't taken over the asylum. And you got to look, folks, I know something else. And a lot of people aren't going to like this. The CW Chanter channel, it's not being supported anymore. We're coming here now. That thing is done. And here's the other thing. Folks, have you ever heard of a chief that survived without listening to their shamans or their tribe or their wise women or their medicine people? No. Have you ever heard of a tribe surviving without a chief? You gotta listen. You gotta listen to CW Time Master. You gotta have a little respect for authority. Come on. You gotta have a little respect for authority. Listen to me. A little. Just a little. From time to time. Pay attention. My God. 2023, and we pull the 23 Quetzalcoatl and the Priestess of Time. This is a very unusual card for this deck. Jasmine Beckett Griffith is in this deck. There are some of these cards that are just of a different style. as if painted by a different hand. And that is not a criticism, it is just interesting. And this is one of them. The book. Can't make that shit up. You know what I mean? Like, come on now. About Quetzalcoatl and the Priestess of Time. The feathered serpent Quetzalcoatl is at the heart of the Mayan people's traditions, and he is a timekeeper. His return is now, and thus this is the time of most rapid transformation of the clarity of a thought that can manifest into reality immediately. We are in the most challenging and fantastic times ever on this planet, and Quetzalcoatl heralds a shift between worlds of consciousness. He and his influence are now the new reality, and those who refuse to step up and embrace and incorporate the new energies will find themselves deep in struggle and unhappiness over and over. Also, fair use for reading this thing. I'm also a transformative work by definition. Lucy Cavendish, come at you, boy, if you challenge me. Instead, it's time. I'm teasing you, girl. Instead, it's time to refuse to. I'm promoting you. Lucy Cavendish. She's got it. She's got it. Instead, it's time to refuse to allow fear to corrupt your courage and to do what must be done. Quetzalcoatl and the Priestess of Time speak through Lucy Cavendish. She's got the gold. Give her your honey. Give her your money. It is the right time, endorsed. It is the right time in this moment. Now, there's been so much pouring over of star maps, hunting for the correct auspicious moment, contemplating the right time, staring into the heavens and asking for sacred dates. But what we wish to say to you now is that you must act. The right time will unfold as it is meant to. For too long, you have used the idea of right time as a tactic to delay and procrastinate because you are afraid of what the change will bring. The change will alter everything. Your ideas will fall away one by one and shift, change, and rearrange. Everything will transform. Nothing is certain because we are in the time of prophecy. Stop waiting for the right time because it is now that this action must take place. Divination. Will you shift your consciousness? Will you change deliberately despite the fear and the others who will tell you you are wrong? Will you move away from fighting opposition, the either-or mentality, and shift into a beingness that allows for a much greater reality? The time is now. That is all you need to know, but there's much that you must do. A deliberate effort to move away from navel gazing and procrastination will transform into determination to become through doing, thinking, being, sharing, and insisting on the new reality's truths for you. It is time to embrace a new standard of excellence and to make that your creed. That's what open. Do not wait another heartbeat. Haircut. Yeah, heartbeat. There you go. All righty, Roo. There you go. I think that's my nut. Jelly beans. I think I'm starting in 1983, 30 years, 1983 is when my parents split up and life was never the same. And two. Okay, now the thing I'll tell you this is what I would say this. When you go back to a place like 1983, here's what you're going to encounter. What I would recommend is this. Set yourself up with a couple of loop points. Okay? Because the thing with 1983, it's 40 years. Okay? Now, some of the stuff is grand. But a lot of the stuff is because remember, when you try to do a time jump, you try to do the time jump by only listening to music, only reading books, only watching music and TV from a particular era. It sounds easy, but you'd be amazed at how much stuff that you expose yourself to from media that simply wasn't available then. for example, YouTube. You really wouldn't be doing your, time loop jump much justice if you were consuming tons of YouTube, because really kind of like that is kind of like, popping the cherry a little. So when I do have been doing 2013, part of what has made it kind of easier is that the YouTube content, especially because a lot of the YouTubers that I subscribe to were even extant or existed 10 years ago. So I can, like, for example, like a guy like Alfred Lamberman Weber, he was doing content 10 years ago. And in fact, a lot of these people, the shit that they were doing 10 years ago was exactly the same. Now, what's interesting is that a lot of the people that I used to watch from 10 years ago have gotten their channels taken away, like Project Camelot. A lot of the stuff that I used to watch from 10 years ago has been taken off, or has been, people have put their shit behind paywalls and stuff. It really depends on how you do it. But, and also, you don't have to be that strict. Like, I have that attitude about like not watching YouTube videos, but that doesn't necessarily mean that you need to have that attitude. Like, like I might be like very particularly strict about that. Like, you don't necessarily have to take that same sort of hardline approach. There you go. Absolutely. Like Jilly Bean says this, music, movies, TV shows, 1983 to start. That's fine. Also, like, this is a game. Do you know what I mean? Like, believe you me. And also, like, what I did too is like this, is that when I do it strict, when I do the time jump strict, like when I did 2003 for a 20-year jump at the beginning of the new year, I was hyper strict. I was hyper strict in regards to movies, music, TV, YouTube, everything. And there was no YouTube in 2003. Therefore, I did not watch YouTube, but for shit from 2003, like clips, like news clips and old TV shows. Like, I saw things like Coronation Street from 2003 that people had taken old VHS tapes and uploaded it. Like, I watched a lot of like that guy, like, he talks like this. I don't know why it talks like this from Coronation Street. I don't know why they killed my dad. Oh, I can't think about nothing else except they killed my dad. I don't know. That guy's from Coronation Street. I love him. I love him. He's a great actor. I love him and the old guy that's always trying to comfort him about I don't know why they killed his dad, but they killed his dad. I don't know. He's got a very high pitched voice for some reason. Is Mark? Are you asking? Is that the guy? I'm like I'm losing my voice though. Super start asking the tough questions. Don't forget about it. Forget it. People start asking tough questions. No, I'm starting to get cough too, because I think I screamed a couple times. Not that high pitched. It's like the high pitched Eric for the British. Oh, they killed Maxine. Was Maxine the girl that they killed? I can't remember who they did. Anyway, I saw 2 episodes. I couldn't follow people's names. It was like Game of Thrones. I had to watch like the episode 3 before I start cashing out to who people's names were. Anyway, the one guy with the necklace. Anyway, I think that makes him like the cool guy. And like I saw that and the people at the antique shop. Anyway. So Spooky was Richard. I love that storyline. There you go. Oh no. No one wins. You can't say shit like that, Oswald. It'll get me upset. I feel threatened when people say things like that. My shirt says I love Wheezing, which is, of course, is a reference to when I got this shirt. The hysterical thing about this shirt was this is actually a reference to Lil Wayne. But I didn't know that when I got this at the mall, probably I think it must have been circa 2008. I know because I was working in Jersey City. Uh, So when I saw it in the mall, foolish me, talk about 20-year nostalgia loops. Wheezy was the nickname that George Jefferson used to call his wife on the Jeffersons. So when I saw the t-shirt, I thought it was a reference to that. It wasn't only later on that I wore the t-shirt into work, and the secretaries told me it was a little gay, and I said, "Why?" They said, "Well, that's like a shirt that we'd expect a gal to wear." And I said, "Why?" They said, "Well, that's Lil Wayne." I said, "No." I said, "It's George Jefferson's wife." They said, "No, asshole. This isn't it's not a reference to George Jefferson's wife." Oswald Spengler is now moderator for your channel. Ha ha. See what I did there? Crazy like an asshole. You see what I did there? That'll show you. Ah, now you're a moderator. See what I did? I'll teach you. I'll teach you. Anyhow, so we have a card. We pulled the card. We read the card. So there we go. and I've lost my voice. So it's official. Don't let the drive to get things for the loop turn into an excuse to relapse on consumer addictions if you have a consumer addiction problem. Use it as a way to curb consumer tendencies by weaponizing the manifesto of craftology and realizing you don't need new shit. You can use the old shit you have. The past is your friend. When you start doing this nostalgia loop stuff, the point is to look for results. What will the results be? I don't know. You want to go to a particular year and you want to keep track of the things that you're seeing and the things that you're noting and the things that you're rolling, because those are the things that you're going to roll for XP on. And you're going to roll for XP on those things and you're going to keep track of those things because those are the things, and writing down those things, or those are the things that you're going to see around you most likely. And noting those things that you see are going to give you more opportunities to roll for more XP. And rolling that XP and investing that XP into your little bases is what's going to be put in the feedback loop. Because remember, you're building these bases in the past, and then you're going to reflect on the effect that those little bases in those past, filled with little vampire spacemen and monster people under your command, has been doing. Because he's in love. It's as simple as that. No fighting. No fighting. Everyone's got their thing. Be nice. Dice roll. Werewolf Patrol. 10 members of the Hitler Youth now on active duty as part of the last ditch werewolf resistance. The patrol will be made of 7 boys and 3 girls, age ranging from 12 to 15 years. They wear civilian clothes and black armbands with a wolf's head insignia. All these young people are extremely arrogant and aggressive. They will demand to see papers, although even a mediocre forgery will be sufficient for them. They will also attempt to search the group's belongings unless the group presents an extremely forceful bluff. The werewolves armed with clubs, staves, and knives, and will attack even in the face of guns. Half hit on 50, half on 60. All have a speed factor of 60 and are weapon ready. They may each sustain 110 damage before succumbing. Agreed. Agreed. How about this one? SSP, TTT, the meta RPG. SSP, TTT, the meta RPG. Yeah, you like it? I love it. I love it. Come on now. Play the game. Tell the people. Get involved. Shake it up. Come on. Get involved. Keep notes. Keep a journal. Come on. Tell me about it. Come on. Come on. Get involved. Pick a year. Get involved. Play. Life is not a spectator sport. Get involved. Get involved. Get involved. Get involved. Play. It's not a LARP. It's a meta RPG. You play it 24 hours a day. You keep your journal with you. You keep your book from that year with you. Keep one of the books with you all times. Looking around, holding it up to the lamppost. Be like, what the fuck? Yeah, what the fuck? It's that blonde girl again. Yeah, what the fuck? Gee. Just like that movie. You know what I mean? You know, you're looking around your mom's house. Where's this? This spirograph. And what's the copyright year on this Ticonderoga pencil? 2003. Right? Right? What do? You crazy ass motherfucker. You're in your, you know what I mean? You're in your grandma's house, right? And you're playing the meta RPG. No shit, right? You're playing the meta RPG, right? Right? No shit. You're playing the meta RPG, and what do? And you're at grandma's house, and you're at her house, and you find the old pencil with the 2003. What pencil has a copyright on it, right? And you find the pencil with the 2003 copyright on it. What do? You do one of these, but you do it all official, right? You do one of fucking these, right? You do one of these. Hold on, excuse me. Where's my tweezers? We'll do it all official. We're doing it live. I'm doing it official. I'm doing it official. You son of a bitch. Do it like this. Fine. Fuck it. I don't give a shit. Do one of these. Be like one of this. right? You put it in the envelope, right? You'd be like, what are these? You know what I mean? Your gloves on. You're like, whoop, right? Fucking save that for fucking later. Fucking put that shit in the fucking envelope, hermetically sealed, right? Fucking save that shit for later, right? You got to fucking take that back to the fucking lab. You got to take that shit back to the fucking lab. You know what I mean? You fucking put that fucking shit fucking on the fucking, get that shit back to your fucking lab. Put it on the fucking emerald tablets of fucking Tristan Vittoris fucking with the fucking bra on your fucking head, weird science style, right? Fucking put the video on from 1983. Put that fucking pencil on the fucking shit, right? Where's my fucking D20? You know what I mean? 17. 1 plus 7 is 8. The fuck out of here. Right? The fuck out of here. Get the fuck out of here. 23 jerks off. 23 beats off. Lab improved word CW wanks off. Lab improved CW wanks. We see Jason Halver. Whatever Jason took, we see whatever Jason, go back in the live chat and figure out the timestamp. It's you could do the, like whatever it is, like 9:55, 9:54. Here we go. It's like roll for endurance. What's my DC? What's my DC? Makes two of us, baby. But that's exactly my point. Jason, that's exactly my point, honey. I love you, kiddo. You're the best. Jason, I love you. You're kidding. You're killing me. I love you. You're making it. You're making it. You're making it happen. You're making it happen for me. I love you. I love you. You're a god. You're a god. I love you. You're awesome. 2. I fucking failed it. But wait, what's my stat? I don't even know what my stat is. We don't even know what my stat is. But I got a 2. It was a 4. I got my magic. I got a 2. I got all awesome numbers, but I still fucking whiffed. But that makes perfect sense because I already said that I'm done. So it makes perfect sense. So I'm out the outdoor. But I'm already out the outdoor, so it works. I can't lose. I love Wheezy. Wheezy! Wheezy! There's a great movie with Dan. Who is it? Arquette. I think it's called Good Boy. It's him. It's him, and there's that fat black guy. That fat black guy. Oh Christ! They're post office. They're mailmen, and the whole premise of the movie is there's like I think there's a dog that escapes from. I think this is the movie. The dog escapes from like a secret training facility. I think the guy that plays Marcellus Wallace is in it too. No, I'm confusing it. I think it's the guy from Green Mile. But there's a scene where David Arquette gets involved in a breakdance battle with these guys that can actually dance, and in it he does the George Jefferson. And his black friend is encouraging him. He's like, do the George Jefferson. He's like, tell him to call Weezy. He's like, Weezy, Weezy. If that movie's from 2003, I'll shit twice and die. Hold on, let me look it up. I'm looking up the IMDb for David Arquette. We're on this shit. Whatever David Arquette did in 2003 is what I'm watching tonight. Unless, please, for the love of Jesus, let it be one of those hysterical movies and not like something terrible. I'm immediately taking back whatever I just said about watching whatever he did in 2003 because I'm not doing it. In 2013 is what I'm watching anyway. Arquette drop kicking Ethan Page in 2019. Oh, it's a different page. I forgot that I was reading the other Ethan Page. Da, da, da. Can I just get a filmography, personal life? Oh, Coco Arquette was born in 2004. Interesting. Oh my God, they got divorced in May of 2013. Dun dun dun. Oh, then he had a second Shadow the Gal in 2013. That's nice. Okay. Da da da. Da da da. Da da da. Here's the filmography. Oh, we don't want any of that. Oh Christ. Where am I? What am I thinking of? What movie am I thinking of? Holy crap! What movie was I thinking of? C-Spot Run from 2001. Jesus Christ. Okay, no, I'm not watching anything from 2003. I'm certainly not watching Foreign Affair or Stealing Sinatra's. Forget anything I said regarding. And he did nothing in 2013. Thank God I dodged the bullet on our man David Arquette. Okay, what did he do in 1993? Maybe there's nothing saying there. Gray Knight. What was that? Oh, some Civil War? No, thank you. Jesus Christ, I'm lucky. This guy did nothing in the years that I needed him to do things. Thank God. Oh, he did something with Jeffrey Tambor at Home with the Webbers. At Home with the Webbers is a 1993 television film directed by Brad Marlowe, starring Jeffrey Tambor, Jennifer Tilly. Jennifer Tilly in 1993 era Jennifer Tilly. I would watch her. Mug a hamster. I would watch her. I would watch her kill me in 1993. I would literally, hi, I'm Jennifer Tilly and I'm killing you. I'd be like, thank you. I would watch her kill me today. I'm Jennifer Tilly and I'm killing you. Like, yeah, you are. Thank you. And David Arquette, the film centers on a typical American family who are cast on a reality TV series. Okay, great. Luke Perry, Alyssa Milano. I have to see this. This is what I have to see. At Home with the Webbers. Thank you. Oh, and I almost just shut off our stream. Here we go. Oh God. Oh, it's not spooky. Do you mean the 2003 The Core with what was the girl's name? From she was married to Rob Lowe's brother, who was the gay guy with AIDS on the Corky show. Wasn't he? Life Goes On. Who am I thinking of? She was like Hilary Swank. Wasn't Hilary Swank in The Core? The Next Karate Kid? I like her when she has hair, but she rarely does. Spiked axe. Normal person. What's the title of your diary you're holding? Me. Oh, just the mind-altering compendium of chrono magic. Don't ask unless you want to play a game. Well, remember. Oh, but remember, it's not a personal diary. To the degree that it is a journaling game, it is not a personal diary. It is a scientific log documenting an experiment. To the degree that the meta RPG is a journaling game, because in the realm of solo RPGs, there's all this debate about, oh, it's a journaling game. That's not really an RPG. It's not a journaling game. To the degree that it is a journaling game, it is not a personal diary. It is a scientific log documenting an experiment, more akin to a personal grimoire than a personal diary. Man, I can't believe the police beat up Hilary Swank. Damn, that's terrible. I'm kidding. Listen, what are you going to do? I gotta go. I love you. I love you. I love you. If nobody told you they loved you today, the cops just beat up another fucking person. What are you gonna do? It is what it is. I do love you. We are playing another game. We are having our fun. It is fun you can get involved with. This is ushering in a return to group participation. But group participation in this game. Which means an invitation to play this game, this meta RPG, SSP, TTT, the meta RPG of doing the applied time travel technology of going back and building the time centers, the time tents, and meta RPGing around. It's not a LARP, it's a meta RPG. We travel back in time, we feed each other with XP, and we trade XP, and we built up our guys and the Time Warriors and the do and the do and the, and we do that. So it's an invitation not to come here and hang out and fuck around and blah 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 and doing bullshit and this, and we're talking about this guy and the other. No. If you come here with your books in your hand, and I'm from this guy, and I do this, and what do you do, and what do you specialize in, and what is your thing, and what's your kink, and what do you like to do? And I like to. My big thing is I really want to build fuel cells. I discovered that I'm really into thinking about building fuel cells. How the fuck does that work? I don't know. Whenever I'm watching these movies, I find that these things with the some of the movies, they blow up and the guys blow up. When they blow up, they jump out like this. Yeah, I always write that down. I note the guys jumping out in front of the things. Whenever there's a different people jumping out in front, two guys, two gals jump out in front, I write that down. And those are the XP I build up. Those people, the fuel that makes people fly, and I use that to build up my guys that can fly. So all my guys that can fly in my time zones, all my guys are usually flying guys. Owlkins and pixies, and those are the kind of guys that I build up. Oh no shit, fuck. Some sort of fucking weird Hawkwind Air Force guy over there. Except 2003. And 2003 is where I build all my land guys. What the fuck? It's got some sort of special teams over here. Weird. Get some sort of grimdark guy over there, and over that guy, he's friends with the weird 80s guy. He's all the 80s guys, got all the 80s chucklehead guys. He's over there, he's friends with grimdark guy, but all of a sudden they're working over there as a team. Some sort of weird G.I. Joe thing going on. There's a special little mission that CW sent them on. CW was under attack by those dickheads that were trying to sue him for copyright infringement. When he called that media war, shut them down real quick. They didn't realize they were fucking around with a guy who had weaponized gamemanship and radical weirdo RPG people. It could happen. Or we could have fun doing it. Theoretically, yeah, who wants to play? Also, now might be as good a time as any. Now might be as good a time as any to remind you that we do play by Grateful Dead rules here, meaning this was a long-winded video with no correct hashtags and not even a title. Such is life. So, but that also makes it secret. Secret Space Program, remember, SSP, TTT, the meta RPG. You know what would be awesome? If people made little videos where they pointed out and said, oh, guys, I found out what the Secret Space Program is. Everyone wondered what it was. It's actually this guy's RPG. I didn't know what it was, but it turns out that this guy, CW Chanter, made an RPG. It's a meta RPG, and it's actually that. The Secret Space Program, the time travel technology actually refers to this thing. Oh, I guess the guy that actually came up with the title Secret Space Program could always sue me for the title Secret Space Program. Good luck with that, honey. Secret Space Program? Oh, I'm literally, yeah, go for it. Good luck. SSP, TTT, the Meta RPG, Secret Space Program Time Travel Technology, Secret Space Program Time Travel Technology, the Meta RPG. I'm not copyrighting it. I'm not trademarking it. I'm not doing anything with it. It's a Meta RPG. I'm not doing nothing with it. It's just a game. You play by doing nothing. What is this? You should try. I'm telling people to listen to music. Secret Space Program versus the Secret Space Program. Theoretically. And remember, when you play this game, you can be a rebel or you can be a loyalist. But remember, when you're a rebel, you're by definition playing a role that I've defined for you. This is my ass. See? It's my ass. You like that? Well, that's Oswald Spangler. Let me get him out of the way. That's not my ass. That's Oswald Spangler. That's my ass. Like that. Shake that ass. Like that. Huh? It's my ass. This is my ass for you. Take care of yourselves. Take care of each other. We'll be around. We'll be having more fun. Have more fun. Play more games. Be excellent. Be best. SSP, TTT, the Meta RPG. Blueberry Wolf Bridge, motherfucker. Cut it up, clip it up, get it out there. Spread the words. Spread the message. Get involved. Get playing. Have some fun. Until next time, I love you. If nobody told you they loved you today, somebody just did. That somebody is moi. Make of that what you will.